welcome to Movie Review Mom. Today we are reviewing the movie Mortal Engines with Jessica Porter. Yay! Welcome. And I won't talk the whole time with this, but this was my tribute to, the Mortal Engines movie poster.
Right.
So Jessica, I'll take it off. Jessica is a book reviewer extraordinaire, and I have all of her details down below in the description, so you can check out all of her websites and links. And at the end, she'll tell us a little bit about some of her current projects. But I thought she would be perfect to review this movie because she's actually read the book, and I haven't. I just saw the movie. So I'm really curious, Jessica, to hear how you rated this movie. So on the count of 3, yell out from A, B, C, D, F, whatever, the score that you gave this movie. And you could do pluses or minuses too. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I gave it a B.
Oh, you gave it a B.
Yeah, I just gave it a B.
Okay. Well, I want to hear all about what you thought because you've read the book.
Well, unfortunately, I actually ended up DNFing the book, which did not finish. The book is slated that it's for young adults, so it's supposed to be ages, 14 and up for people that are in high school. But the book really reads for middle grade. It's very, very low. But from what I did read from it, I got about maybe 50 pages in. They changed a lot of stuff. They really did. It starts out with Tim, where he's actually already in the museum, and he wants to go see London suck up this other salt mining town, and he's told no, that he's not allowed to do it, but he does it anyway. And he ends up getting in a fight with the one guy that's in the movie that you see maybe, I think, twice. And it's the guy that tells Valentine where the hidden tech is behind the map. So you really don't really see much of him in the movie like you do in the book. Another thing in the book that's really different from the movie is that Catherine has this dog as well. She has a white wolf that they completely omitted from the movie. And that's pretty much about as far as I had gotten in the book for differences. The rest of it, instead of having the minions like they did in the movie, the book has Minnie and Mickey Mouse. So it's just like subtle changes for those, but the larger changes was that. I really would have liked to find out if Shrike was in the book, but it was very stagnant. I like what they did with the movie a lot better because they made it for, older adult and teen viewers versus, the lower middle grade. So
generally, books are always better than movies. Even though I love movies, I recognize that, except Lord of the Rings. I couldn't even get through that trilogy, but I loved the movies. And in fact, this movie, Mortal Engines, was produced by Peter Jackson. And I could see the influence, the things that were successful in his Lord of the Rings trilogy. For example, at the very beginning, the narration sounded like Smaug from The Hobbit. I don't know if it sounded like that to you, but there were certain elements that very much seemed Peter Jacksonian to me.
Right.
And yet, of course, it just didn't get me. I mean, I didn't get it. I don't know. It didn't grab me like The Lord of the Rings. In fact, after I watched Mortal Engines, I was so disappointed, I ended up watching Return of the King. And I was like, yes, this is great filmmaking and storytelling. And a lot of people complain that it's the CGI that's amazing in Mortal Engines, but the narrative is just plodding along and confusing if you haven't read the book, I guess, because I was just like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
They did the same thing with the book from what I read of it, that you don't really get any backstory. You know that there was a 60-minute war that decimated everybody, and then that's it, basically. You don't really know anything else that happened to our world versus their world or leading up to their world. All we know is, there was this war. It killed mostly everybody. Okay, now we're here. Okay, well, what happened? I would have liked some backstory to it in some fashion, shape, or form, because it really makes you feel like you're basically just dropped into this world with no explanation.
Right. There were some inconsistencies. And again, I didn't read the book, but just inconsistencies within the movie itself. It felt
Yeah.
kind of like a steampunk meets smog, Mad Max, Fury Road, Water World kind of a thing where all the people are grungy. And then
Right.
you get this character. Let's see, I have to
Was
look
it
up.
Shrike?
Yeah, he's sort of like from the Terminator.
Right, and they just dropped the Terminator in there just because.
Yeah, right, right. And then you get Anna Feng, who plays this very clean with makeup on, and she just doesn't even fit in that world, you know, where everybody's
Right.
grungy, which I thought was kind of bizarre. What did you think of the casting?
From the book to the movie, I think they did a really good job from what I read. Because, well, I mean, Tim in the book seems really a lot younger. I would say that he sounds more like he's like 12, but yeah, I like what they did with the movie. I think everybody fit pretty well. I actually really liked what they did with Anna Fang. Just her character kind of seemed out of place because she was supposed to be this rebel, you know, that was wanted by London, but I think her aspect of being, you know, very clean cut and the makeup and very like not really prim and proper, but you know, really well put together was that she was supposed to be this unattainable person that, you know, you're never going to meet this person. This person is, you know, wanted by London, and that's it. You know, this is the unattainable basically. And that really what makes her seem that way because she's so clean and she's not dirty. She has no speck of dust on her whatsoever. It's like a magical unicorn. They never get dirty. Their hair is always flowing.
Yeah, she was kind of a magical unicorn. That's a good description. I like that. I love, now I just forgot his name. Oh gosh. Well, Hera Hilmer is actually from Iceland, and I had never seen her in anything before. I'm actually going to go to Iceland next fall. I want to see the Aurora Borealis there. Let's see. Oh, I can't think of his name now. Hold on, I have to read my notes. Oh, what's his name? Hugo Weaving. I love him. And of course, he was in the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well. Mm-hmm. But some of the lines that he delivered sounded like they were just taken right out of Lord of the Rings. With the British accent and I don't know, the pacing of his sentences or something like that. And that was the other thing that kind of drove me nuts. Everybody sort of had a British or a Cockney accent or something from England. And then you've got these few spattering characters who are American. And I'm like, well, no, wait a minute. Where? And then they're on the border of China. You know, I'm like, where are these people coming from? The little things like that kind of drive me nuts.
Well, and see, and that could have been cleared up in like a little short to begin with to tell us about, you know, what happened to the world. You know, they could have fixed that up. I mean, they did that in, what is it? Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. We got this whole cinematic beginning thing of them telling you what happened to their world, you know, of the dead coming back to life. And I think that would have worked really well here. They could have done something like that with like little machines or something to show us exactly what had happened. And it would have tied the world together a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. So do you think this movie is appropriate for families? Since this is Movie Review Mom, I always try to give parents the heads up. What were the good things, the bad things, the good themes, the heads up for parent warning, that kind of stuff?
My 8-year-old went with us.
Oh.
So she just turned 8 back on the 6th of November, but we're pretty lenient on what our kids watch. I have a 14-year-old and 8-year-old. So like my 14-year-old has seen Deadpool. But
did
she liked
the PG-13 Deadpool that
just we saw that as well. Yeah. I don't care for Deadpool. It's even the the PG-13 one was a little much for me, but she loves it. But my 8-year-old liked it. She didn't have any problems with the action and the deaths that happened in it. I do think that for this, that they really cut down on the blood, guts, and gore. You know, there's no big blood spatters. You know, there's nothing like that. So I think in that aspect, it would be fine for younger kids to go watch it. But there is a lot of violence. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
there's obviously a lot of violence, destruction. There is blood, and there are some brutal deaths, like a woman blows a man's head off, and people lose limbs and, that kind of thing. It could definitely be rated R, so I guess you could say it's toned down from PG-13.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe Strikers might be a little scary for younger kids with those glowing green eyes. And the movie is really loud.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it
you
was.
say?
Oh my God, it was very loud.
Yeah, so little ones, like when I had little
May
ones,
not like it.
I had a son that, he just couldn't tolerate loud sounds. He didn't like fireworks. And certainly, babies and toddlers, it's just going to be too loud and just too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So generally, do you like to read a book before you watch the movie, or does that kind of ruin it for you?
It kind of depends on the movie. There's one coming out in March of next year called 5 Feet Apart about these kids that have to get like lung transplants. That one I have the book too, and I've read it. I'm actually going to reread it in a finished copy because I had it in what's called an ARC. It's an advanced reading copy.
Uh-huh.
So I read that last month. But
to me, the trailer just looks like The Fault Beneath Our Stars.
The Fault in Our Stars. Yeah, it's like I know this thing is going to make me cry more than likely. But generally, I try to read the book fully before the movie comes out. But then there's some of them that I kind of don't want spoiled, so I'll read it after the fact. Of course, one that comes to mind is just not happening. Recently, anything that's had an adaptation, I've read it before. So I don't think there's really been anything that is book related that I haven't read the book before the movie. It just kind of gives you more in depth of what's going on because, they cut out a lot of stuff. So
right.
Kind of like a toss up on that one.
Okay. Well, so now tell us real quickly, what are some of your newest projects? Tell us what you do, and so my viewers can find you.
Right. So my site is Cross Reviews, and we review everything from kids to adults. My 2 daughters review for me as well. I've got a couple of other reviewers on site that do stuff as well. So we review everything that's book related. And I've been reviewing for almost 10 years. I do YouTube channels. I'm on all social media. And basically, I just talk about books. I also have an offline book club that's local in Winter Haven that we're reading the Throne of Glass series right now, which is really nice to be able to finish a series because I don't generally get that opportunity to do that, to read a book back to back. So that's really nice to do.
Do you have an all-time favorite book?
See, you sent me a question for all-time favorite movie. Let's see, book.
All-time favorite book. that was going to be my next question.
All-time favorite book, I would have to say, is The Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It's part of the prequel series to the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It's the 3rd book in that series, which the spinoff of that series actually comes out next year. Which is about their children. But this is like a book that has a love triangle in it, and generally everybody hates love triangles, but this is like the love triangle that all other love triangles wish they could be, because it was perfect and it was amazing. And if you haven't read that series, you definitely should.
Okay, and now favorite movie.
Let's see, favorite movie. For the favorite movie, it has to be all of the Harry Potter movies. We're big. We live in Florida. We're big Harry Potter fans. In the past, we've gone to Universal constantly, go ride all the Harry Potter rides, and just live in that area. So Harry Potter has been the #1 set of movies that we have watched. We'll watch it maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So, and anytime it comes up on Fox or Family or whatever, we always watch it on there as well. Gotta love Harry Potter. Even my coffee cup right here, I've got coffee in it. It's Harry Potter. So gotta love Harry Potter.
It really introduced a new young generation into wanting to read books. Right. And it's one book series, I think, like Lord of the Rings, that the movies are so good. They're comparable to the books because, when you read a book, you're using your own imagination, and the movies were beyond my imagination. I just thought they were great. What did you think?
The Harry Potter, I haven't actually read all the Harry Potter books. I've only read book 3. I have them. They're like up there actually, but I'm horribly behind on the Harry Potter book fandom section. I'm a horrible person. But I
No.
love Harry Potter. The movies are just so good. But to start out those books, it's, if you've seen the movies and you go to read that book, it's basically the movie all over again to begin with, because it's before, you know, you get to the parts where they've cut out stuff. But
with more details, obviously.
yeah, but I think that's why I haven't sat down and actually read them, because we watch the movie so much that you sit down and you go to read the book and I'm like, wow, this is like, just, I might as well just go watch the movie again, because it's basically almost the same thing. But
But you get through it a lot faster.
yeah. Oh yeah. But Harry Potter, I mean, when my oldest was starting out in kindergarten, you'd see like first graders walk by with like the Harry Potter book in their arms, and it's like, oh my God, that book is like, you know, like massive. How are they reading this?
How are they carrying it?
Right, that too. I mean, those things are not small. Those are pretty thick for.
That's
for that age.
awesome. All right, so back to Mortal Engines. Would you recommend it or not?
I think yes. It's definitely something that I think that a lot of people are going to like. I like the themes that it dealt with. You know, in our society, you have people that are geared totally towards their looks and everything else. And in this, you have this heroine that is trying to avenge her mother's death. And she's got this massive scar on her face, but it doesn't matter. Nobody comments on her scar for the most part. You know, it doesn't really matter what you look like. Nobody's concerned about, you know, their looks and stuff. Like, it kind of reminded me, London kind of reminded me of the Capitol in the Hunger Games, but without everybody doing the off the wall looks. You know, everybody was more down to earth.
That's a really good point. Nobody comments on it.
Yeah. So if you're looking for action thriller that's also fantasy steampunky, this I think is right up your alley.
Right, with a strong heroine, and she has a character arc where she learns to grow and embrace certain things about herself, because when we meet her, she doesn't trust anyone, she doesn't love anyone,
Right.
and slowly that starts to, she starts to open up. It's about humanity. There was one costume that I thought was super cool, and that was one of the bad guys, and he's got buttons all over his jacket. Do you remember seeing that?
Oh, I saw that.
And nobody commented on that either, but I thought it was cute. All right. Thank you for joining us on Movie Review Mom.
Make sure to subscribe.
And comment below, because this movie is a bit controversial. A lot of people are saying it's so great, and other people are saying worst movie of the year. We would love to hear what you have to say. So put your comments below, ring the little bell, subscribe, like, all that stuff, and join us next time where we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Bye for now.